What's up, Warriors fans? Welcome to Warriors Latest. I am your host, Max Arizin. As always, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you like what you hear, as I do post new Warriors videos daily. Now, my God, has it been an interesting day, not only in the NBA and Dub Nation, but for sports in general, because we saw the wildest, and I mean wildest news in the NBA, probably I want to say since the Donald Sterling incident 11 years ago. And ironically, it was by the same team. And that news is that the Clippers are accused of circumventing the cap to sign Kawhi Leonard to, I guess, a bigger deal, but couldn't do it because of cap restrictions. And so they did it through this tree planting company, and they paid him $7 million a year over a 4-year span. And it's so shocking to see this happen. Now, I get it that it's Steve Ballmer who did this, who pretty much has FU money and could pretty much do whatever he wants because they're the billionaires that own the regular basketball teams down here. And then there's Steve Ballmer. Steve Ballmer's worth over $125 million. So for him to do that is not surprising, but it's just wild that they caught him. Now, them doing this is a big no-no, as we all know. Last time this happened was 25 years ago when Glenn Taylor tried to do the same thing, and he got caught, was fined the maximum amount he could. The contract was voided, and then they lost 5 future first-round picks. Now, with the Clippers, this isn't going to be as bad because I know for a fact that Steve Ballmer is going to fight this tooth and nail, whether it be lawsuits, whether it be arbitration, whether it be like committees, things like that. And he'll get away with this mostly because the Clippers haven't been that great even since they signed Kawhi, so it's not the worst. But this is going to be a real testament, not only for the league, but for Adam Silver. We've seen him, we've called him a bit soft compared to David Stern, but this is easily the worst case scenario of what a team can do. We've seen how other commissioners have acted in response to cheating, most specifically Rob Manfred and his discipline for the sign stealing scandal, and how a lot of people don't believe it was enough. But we look at the Clippers, and even if they do void Kawhi's contract, which I see is likely, there's still the fallout of the draft picks as well as the fines. And you know that with the draft picks, a lot of their picks are traded away. And with the fines, that's pocket change to a guy like Ballmer. So whatever happens is going to be looked at with much scrutiny, and the investigation has to be very deep diving, because if this can happen to Steve Ballmer, this can happen to anybody. And I don't know who else has gotten involved in these kinds of deals because of how restrictive the cap is. And I think this is also going to play out in a lot of different ways that we don't even realize. Now, as I said, the fallout is going to be far-reaching. And I don't just mean that the Clippers are going to likely lose draft picks, get fined, and Kawhi's contract is likely going to get voided. Granted, it might not, just because this did happen over a period from, I believe it was when Kawhi initially signed, all the way until the company went bankrupt, and the financials became known. So the money that they signed him in for that contract has long since expired. So I'm not 100% sure that it is going to be voided, but those draft picks are likely going to be taken away. The draft picks that they have, most specifically, not the ones that they've traded away, those are still going to be conveyed to the teams that they've been traded to, most likely. But the far-reaching fallout, and this is just me speaking out, or thinking out loud, is that this is going to play into, let's say, the potential, like I've said before, the potential lockout that may either start in 2029 or 2030. And the reason I believe this is just a another symptom of a bigger problem. And that bigger problem is Adam Silver's push for parity. Because when you push for parity, there's no real incentive to spend a lot of money to win. And if owners, especially the wealthier ones in those big market teams, they want to win more often than the smaller guy. In parity, everybody has the same chance. And the fact is, the NBA is a business. And in business, the most profitable businesses want to win more often than the teams that don't want to spend as much money. It's a difference between owners who want to spend money and owners who don't. And that's going to be a problem come 2029, 2030, when you've got multiple teams who are just tired of this parity. They want to spend more money on their team, but they can't because of how restrictive the salary cap is with the first and second apron. And I definitely see if Ballmer really gets the boot from Silver, and it's not like he can be forced to sell the team. Unlike Donald Sterling, he has the funds to fight tooth and nail, as I've said. He's got FU money. Like, you want to come at him? The man has more money in his net worth than the league makes in 10 straight years. And this is me estimating their revenue at $9 billion a year. It would take, I believe, I want to say at least 12 to 15 years for the league revenue to match Steve Ballmer's overall net worth. So he's going to fight this tooth and nail. He said this is provably false and that they had no knowledge of it. Let's be honest. Ballmer had knowledge of it, but he just does not care. And that's just going to play a huge role come 2029, 2030. And I say this because the larger market teams are going to get tired for just saving the smaller market teams and helping them offset their losses because they didn't put a good enough team. And when you have smaller market teams like doing better but still losing money, like bigger market teams that aren't doing as well don't want to offset their losses. And all Ballmer needs, along with himself, is 8 owners to hold out on any new CBA agreement. And next thing you know, you got a lockout. Now, when you think of who these owners could be, it's going to be Ballmer. It's going to be Joe Tsai. It's going to be James Dolan, who already hates the NBA. It's going to be Mark Walters. It's going to be Max Arizin. Who else? It could be Joe Lacob as well. It could be, and it could be who else? Let's see. I had a full list last night. It could be Joe Lacob and just some of the bigger market teams. The Adelsons, the owners of the Mavericks could definitely be part of that whole coalition. And I know there are plenty of others. Oh, and Tim Ferretta. Now, those are all guys that are very wealthy. Those are all people that are very wealthy owners, and I could see them building a small coalition to really break it down and say we're not agreeing to any new CBA unless these issues get addressed. We're tired of paying to offset the losses of teams that do better but still lose money. If we're making a profit, we want to enjoy the fruits of our business. And enjoying the fruits means winning more. And I think this also comes into play with how parity just isn't good business because teams are constantly losing money. And when teams are constantly losing money, the teams that are making money don't want to deal with it. Now, they can't. The teams that are, the teams that are constantly making profit, like the Knicks and the Lakers, Clippers, Houston, so on and so forth, they can't exactly just leave the NBA and start their own league. That just does not work, but it's just like, oh my God, this is really, really, really bad. And there are going to be other implications as well. Now, should the Clippers lose Kawhi, the Warriors need to jump on that as fast as possible because Kawhi fills any other role and he really just adds another defensive presence. Now, this is just pure speculation, but I definitely see this as a huge possibility of happening because Kawhi's a free agent. He can't re-sign with the Clippers. He can't sign with the Clippers anytime soon, but the Clippers are still going to be competitive. Maybe no longer a top 6 seed, but at least a play-in team. They may lose their draft picks, but since they have so much money and they've been playing the financial flexibility game over the last few years, they do have a way to continue to sign good free agents and give them solid offers. They may not be able to build through the draft, but let's be honest. Thinking about it with these big market teams, a lot of the time they don't build through the draft. I think the Lakers right now, Luka Doncic was acquired through a trade. LeBron was acquired through free agency. You look at the Knicks. Jalen Brunson, free agency. OG Anunoby, trade. Josh Hart, trade. Cat, trade. I think the only guy they drafted that's in their starting lineup was Mitchell Robinson, and he was a second-round pick. So I don't see this really affecting the Clippers in terms of draft pick, but losing Kawhi is going to be big. And if the Warriors are going to go after that championship, they need to jump on him as soon as possible. Be like, this is the vision. This is how we're going to win. This is the system we run, and we want you to be a part of it. We have, if you need to rest a few games, all right, we have proper backups to give you that rest so you can be fresh and ready to go for the playoffs and be playoff Kawhi to the fullest extent and help Steph get his 5th ring. So I definitely see that happen. Bottom line is, oh my God, this Clips issue has few good outcomes for anybody. Not only are they going to look into the Clips, but they're going to start scrutinizing, and by them I mean the NBA, they're going to start scrutinizing every single major move now that teams are going to make in free agency in the future. And it's like, okay, you signed a player to let's say, a solid deal, less than market value. Maybe there was an under-the-table deal. I mean, I think about the, say, if they get some certain guys on the free agent market that are minimum or above minimum guys, but they're getting them at minimum. Maybe the NBA starts looking into that. It's like, okay, these are good players. Why are you signing them at minimum? And it's like, okay, maybe there's ways that they're circumventing the cap, and there's just going to be a lot of scrutiny with all these deals. And I think about it because one of the things that, at least in the early days, from what I remember, I read an article maybe 8-9 years ago, was Joe Lacob loves to help his players with investing in Silicon Valley. And now that whole draw as a way to really bridge the gap from your NBA career to your post-NBA life may be under scrutiny because that looks like an incentive to take less money to sign with the Warriors. So I'm really worried about the potential fallout. I'm biting my nails as we wait and see. And hopefully it's just similar to what happened to Glenn Taylor and the Timberwolves in 2000 with Joe Smith. And they just take away the draft picks and void Kawhi's contract. Send Steve Ballmer the bill, and that's it. Like, those draft picks, though, there's going to be a lot of fighting. I would say there's going to be a mediator involved, but I'm worried about that. That'll happen. I'm worried about the future scrutiny that may happen for all free agent signings, not just with the Warriors, but with all other teams, because this is going to have far-reaching consequences, and I am very nervous about it. Now, that's all we have today for Warriors Latest. As always, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you like what you heard today. And if you have any thoughts on what may happen, not just with the Clippers in terms of their punishment, should they be found guilty of circumventing the cap, but some far-reaching consequences that we don't know may happen yet. Some potential, like, domino effect consequences, because this is bad. This is really, really, really bad. And hopefully the Dubs don't get the short straw and get screwed over in the long term. And as always, go Dubs.